Good morning, students. Welcome to the statistics class. I hope you're all doing good. I hope you're all preparing for all the classes. You have watched all the videos. You've gone through all the lessons. You're making notes. I believe that you're all doing good. And the academic year is coming to an end almost, students, and we are also very near to the completion of the portions. I don't know how far you people have followed all the videos. We don't know really how you're managing with all the videos, but we believe that you're all good, doing good. You're all hardworking students. You're all the people, right, who don't look for shortcuts for success. You're all the people who work hard and try to get success in everything that you do. So believing that, um, okay, and I'm going to start a new lesson today. Today I'm going to teach you about graphical presentation of frequency distribution, students. In the previous videos, I had explained to you all about the diagrams, okay, one-dimensional diagrams, and as well as two-dimensional diagram. The two-dimensional diagram was only about pi diagram that I had explained to you, and I hope you have followed that. And I wanted you to do such type of problems and practice those diagrams because they definitely occur in the annual examinations. And since the portions are reduced for it, and I think no, the portions or the blueprint also can be changed, and based on that, you may also get more number of questions from diagrams. So make sure that you are practicing them well. So today, now I'm going to explain to you about graphical presentation of frequency distribution, students. Graphical presentation of frequency distribution, which is very clearly seen on the screen to you, the title which says graphical representation of frequency distribution. See here, graphical presentation of frequency distribution. Frequency distribution has been told to you, students. Frequency distribution will be of two types. Either it should be a discrete one, okay, discrete frequency distribution, where we can see it as only x and f values. Okay, the values would be like 10, 12, 14, and the frequencies would be 2 or 5 or 2, something like this. This is a discrete frequency distribution. There can be also one more type of frequency distribution, which is called as continuous frequency distribution, students. Continuous frequency distributions will be of class intervals, okay, and frequencies. Like class intervals would be like 0 to 10, 10 to 20, right, like this, 20 to 30, and the frequencies would be like this, 10 to 5, 3, something like this. This is the way, this is the one that you may be having, students, okay. So I wanted you all to understand this, that the frequency distribution, when we come across with this, is all the time, either it may be a discrete one or it may be a continuous frequency distribution. Either of it will be there, students. So I just want you to understand this, that whenever we come across this graphical presentation, it must be frequency distribution only. It should be frequency distribution only, students. Okay, so that's the reason why the title also has been given to us as graphical presentation of frequency distribution. Frequency distribution. Otherwise, they would have also mentioned it as graphical presentation of any numerical data. Also, they could have mentioned it, but when they mention it as frequency distribution, you should understand it's only about frequency distribution. That's it. Okay, right. So there are many ways of presentation of frequency distributions in the form of graphs. Some commonly used graphs are: number one, they said histogram; number two, they said is frequency polygon; number three is frequency curve; number four is ogives. Okay, ogives, right? So don't pronounce it as ogives or ogives. Okay, so they are ogives or ogives. We can say jives, Jives, pronounced as ogives or ogives. Fine. So these are ogives. Ogives are cumulative frequency curves. So I'll be dealing with all these one by one, students. Okay. So there are how many types of graphs that we have to study? Number one, histogram. Number two, frequency polygon. Number three, frequency curve. Number four, ogives. Okay, ogives. Right. So now let's go for the histogram. Let's start with the first one. What is the first one? It's called as histogram. So what they said is histogram is histogram is constructed for whom, students? For continuous frequency distributions. Continuous frequency distribution means this type, class intervals and frequencies. Okay, continuous frequency distribution. Keep it in mind when they said histogram is constructed for continuous frequency distributions. That's it. So you will not be seeing anything regarding this discrete frequency distribution. Uh, Histogram can't be drawn for discrete. It can't be drawn for discrete frequency distribution. It will be drawn only for continuous. See the word continuous you mentioned here. The word continuous. Okay, right. Now what is the definition of it? A histogram is a set of. It is a set of adjacent rectangles whose height and width are proportional to class frequency and the width of the class respectively, such that the area of the histogram is proportional to the total frequency. Okay, height is equal to the class frequency and the width of that bar will be equal to the width of the class. Okay, so this is what is respectively mean. Okay, they use the first word height, so that means here the first reference is being made to class frequency. So the height will be always according to the class frequency. Height of the bar will be according to the class frequency and the width of the bar will be according to the width of the class interval. Okay, such that you come across, see, and when I draw here like this, this is one rectangle, students. This is one rectangle. So this is x-axis, this is y-axis. Understand? So this is a rectangular bar, vertical rectangular bar. Okay, and when I start another bar, I draw. So these are set of vertical rectangular bars placed adjacent with each other, right? They are like multiple bar diagrams, but the width will be representing like class interval. Say for example, the class interval is 10 to 20, so the width of it will 10 to 20, 20 to 30. So the height would be represented by the frequencies, students, frequencies, and here it would be class intervals. This is x-axis and this is y-axis, students. This is how they do it. Okay, such that the area of the rectangle, this whole area of the rectangle represents the total frequency, the whole rectangles. Okay, all these, like this one more bar you may draw. Okay, 30 to 40. Another bar you may draw 40 to 50. So this whole area, whatever it is, they represent the total frequency, students. This is what I can call this to be as histogram, students. What it is called? Histogram. Is that clear? Okay, right. Now here, students, how it is taken as, here they said very clearly, if you see here, that the class limits, the class limits are taken along x-axis and frequencies along y-axis. Class limits are taken along x-axis and frequencies along y-axis. Rectangles are erected on each of the class interval. As I showed it to you, this is one class interval. 10 to 20 is one class interval. So on that only the rectangular bars are done. 10 to 20, 10, 20 to 30, another class interval. On that we draw a bar. 30 to 40, another class interval. We draw a bar. Like that we do it, students. So the width and the height of the rectangles are proportional to the width of the class and the class frequency respectively. The graph formed by a series of such rectangles adjacent to one another is called as histogram. Okay, so this is what is called as histogram. So keep it in your mind, students. This is what we need to do it. Okay. Whenever we come across with these kind of diagrams, you keep it in your mind that these rectangles are adjacent rectangles adjacent to each other. They are called as histogram. Now, there are some rules, there are some conditions here, students. There are some conditions for drawing this histogram. There are some conditions. What are the conditions? Number one, if I say, while constructing histogram, inclusive class intervals should be converted into exclusive. If you come across with inclusive, what are we supposed to do? We are supposed to convert them into exclusive, right? Right. If ever you come across with 0 to 9 or 9 to 0 to 9 and 10 to 19 like this, these are inclusive, students. So we need to convert them into exclusive. Converting, I will show it to you how you have to do. This is the first condition. The second condition, very clearly they mentioned here, is if the class intervals are of unequal width. Unequal width, like for example, one is 0 to 10, another one is 10 to 15, another one is 15 to 30. You see here the first class interval is size 10, the second class interval is size of 5, and the third class interval is 15. Like that, we have unequal width of class intervals. Then histogram is constructed for frequency density, that is FD or FC, we can call it as frequency density. Okay, we are not going to use frequencies, students. Frequencies are not supposed to be used. We are using frequency density. Okay, these are the two conditions. Number one, while constructing histogram, inclusive class intervals should be converted into exclusive classes, and if the class intervals are of unequal width, then the histogram is constructed for frequency density. Okay, right. And you understand this, students, that students, these two things, when you come across with the data given, then it will be easy for you to follow. Okay, so keep it, then what are the uses of this histogram? How the uses of this histogram? From the histogram, mode can be obtained by joining the upper vertices of the tallest rectangle. I will show that to you. The mode is, what is mode? Mode is one of the measure of central tendency. One of the measure of central tendency. Okay, so measure of central tendency like arithmetic mean, median, mode, these are all measures of central tendency. So we have a separate formula for to calculate mode, but at the same time, without using any formula, only using diagrams also we can calculate mode. And how to calculate mode or how to find out mode? It's only using histogram. With the help of histogram, mode can be obtained by joining the upper vertices. This is one. Then they said also, then from the point of intersection, that is what is the major use of drawing this histogram, students. Okay, apart from this, we can also draw the rest of the diagrams, the rest of the graphs. What are the rest of the graphs? We have frequency, polygon. This is one. With the help of a histogram, we can draw frequency polygon also. We can also draw frequency curve, students. These two things we can do it. Okay, with the help of what? With the help of histogram. Is that clear, students? So from the histogram, number one, what can be done? We can plot mode. Number two, we can also plot frequency polygon and frequency curve, right? Without histogram also they can be plotted, students. But with the help of histogram, it will be very easy to plot frequency polygon and frequency curve. Okay, this is what we have with the theory regarding histogram, students. Okay, so in the next video, I will explain to you how to draw the histogram. I will take a simple problem with the equal width of class intervals, and then I will show it to you. And then another video I will help you to understand about unequal width of class intervals. How can we do it? So all these things can be done, students. Don't worry. So only your duty is only just to go through the video, understand the explanation, follow it, and make a note of all those points. And there's some points, if you have not understood, make a note of it, underline it, and then give a call or text then we will be there to help you out. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for this wonderful time of you. Thank you.